How you doing, Denzel? How you doing tonight, man?
Looking good, Denzel. Looking good. Looking good, Denzel.
Sean Diddy Combs once got into an argument with Denzel Washington during a party. According to a new report, the altercation took place during an all-night affair he was attending with his wife, Washington, in 2003.
Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing.
MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
An A-list actor apparently wasn't a fan of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged infamous parties. That would be Denzel Washington, and allegedly, there is evidence that the two stars once squared it off verbally and physically at one of Diddy's past parties.
But I leave 30 minutes for the devil get there. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, there you go.
That's what Denzel told me. Leave 30 minutes for the devil get there. That's it.
A source recently revealed that in the early 2000s, the Oscar winner and his wife Paulette were guests at one of the disgraced rapper's all-night gatherings. It's unclear which city the party question was held in, as bashes were held at Diddy's mansions in the Hamptons, Los Angeles, and Miami Beach. As per Page 6, the all-night affair was held in 2003. So, did the rapper try to make advances on him? Maybe, maybe not. The Insider says that things went south the later it got, and the Washingtons wanted no part of it. Near dawn, after the Equalizer star had seen something, he allegedly confronted Diddy yelling, "You don't respect anyone." Then Denzel, who often talks about his strong sense of faith, and his wife, stormed out.
Now I gotta use a security trick on you guys, man. Trained professional.
See, we could call 50 motherfuckers. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad for you. We could call 50.
The 69-year-old Hollywood legend, after the alleged squabble, promised never to attend a Diddy party and embarked on a mission to warn other industry players to avoid Diddy like a plague. So, whatever happened between them that led to physical confrontation and complete boycott of the parties must have been something pretty serious, don't you think?
As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent. And he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
The 54-year-old music executive was arrested last month, 6 months after feds raided his two homes in an S-trading probe triggered by multiple lawsuits alleging abuse and misconduct. In the unsealed indictment, the Bad Boy Records founder is accused of forcing women to participate in the so-called F.O. quote. It says, employees would allegedly arrange his access to S-workers, often across state lines, and provided drugs to keep them obedient and compliant. The father of 7 was hit with 3 charges: racketeering conspiracy, S-trading by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in P-ation. In light of the new allegations, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, called it an unjust prosecution and said his client is an innocent man with nothing to hide. In November last year, Cassandra Cassie Ventura kicked off what became a tsunami of accusations against the music mogul with a lawsuit against Combs in New York federal court that included graphic claims of sexual assault, physical abuse, and an allegation that Diddy, her ex-boyfriend, would force her to have S with male S-workers while he watched. The recent charges are not the first controversies that the music mogul and entrepreneur has faced over the years. Diddy has attempted to rebrand himself as Brother Love, but he has a prolonged history of allegations of violence dating back to the 90s. He's never been convicted of a serious crime, but has repeatedly been accused of having violent encounters with everyone from his exes Cassie and Gina Huen, who alleged physical abuse in 2019, to executive Steve Stout and rappers like J. Cole and Drake, and now Denzel Washington. Responding to Cassie's claims, Diddy's attorney, Ben Brafman, told the New York Times that Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. The two reached an amicable settlement for an undisclosed amount on November 17th, but numerous other lawsuits followed.
We have breaking news now involving Sean Diddy Combs and his ex-girlfriend, the singer Cassie. Representatives on both camps and Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, are saying tonight that the two have settled a lawsuit she filed against the mogul yesterday.
And just like Denzel, Diddy has been around for some time now, and so have his controversies. They started back in 1991. Diddy co-promoted a celebrity basketball game in concert at City College of New York, where 9 people died and 20 they died by the day. 9 people were injured. The gym had a capacity of 2,730 people, but as many as 5,000 people showed up to the event, which didn't have enough security to control the throng. After organizers closed the doors and stopped letting attendees in, people outside broke the gymnasium's doors and rushed the lobby, causing a stampede. Then New York City Mayor David Dinkins' administration published a 67-page report called A Failure of Responsibility that cited Diddy for hiring inadequate, inexperienced security. The rapper settled a slew of lawsuits from family members of attendees who died at the gymnasium, finalizing the last suit in 2000. 4 years later, in 1995, another headline-renting controversy happened. Diddy and Death Row Records co-founder Marion Suge Knight were once friends, but the animosity that fueled the violent rivalry between Death Row and Bad Boy started once Knight's friend and security guard Jake Robles was K outside an Atlanta nightclub after an argument at Jermaine Dupri's birthday at Platinum City Club when, as then Fulton County Sheriff Deputy Chris Howard told police, an argument began between the Bad Boy and Death Row Records entourage members.
Anyway, they had like their little words, right? And they went outside, and they went in the middle of the street.
They were in the middle with Puff.
The middle of the street, Puff.
Howard said that he escorted Diddy and his guests outside to leave the club and thought the coast was clear enough to allow Knight and his entourage to leave. But, as Howard told the Los Angeles Times, Knight's partner was just about ready to get into the limo when all of a sudden Puffy's guys came from around the corner, and one of them had a gun. Howard said he chased the man, who handed the gun to another person who shot Robles 2 or 3 times. According to the Times, the person then jumped into a car carrying Combs associates. Robles died weeks later at an Atlanta hospital. Diddy has denied involvement in the shooting, which Knight reportedly held him responsible for. Then, in 1998, the music mogul struck again. That year, Diddy and 2 other men attacked Steve Stout after the music executive, then Nas's manager, erroneously sent MTV a version of Diddy and Nas' Hate Me Now music video, which contained scenes depicting the Grammy winner as Jesus Christ being crucified. Puffy wanted the crucifixion scene deleted from the video and was enraged that it played on air. Stout says that Diddy and 2 men barged into his New York City office and attacked him with a champagne bottle. He was charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief. Stout claims that his arm and jaw were broken in the attack, but Puffy denied any bones were broken to MTV, also telling the network, I basically went to his office, and what happened in his office I really can't speak about, but I can say this. The way I handled myself in his office was completely wrong, and I've since apologized to Steve about that, and I felt like, I just disappointed myself. The rapper was sentenced to a 1-day anger management class, but just a year later, he was at it again. In late December 1999, Diddy and his bad boy Sini Jamal Shine Barrow were partying at Club New York when Diddy knocked a drink out of Matthew Scar Allen's hands. Allen got into an argument with the rapper, and someone threw money in Puffy's face. Allen also threatened to K-Shine. Prosecutors allege that amid the fray, all 3 men drew guns, and Shine shot 3 times in the crowded club. 3 people were shot. Diddy, who was arrested with 2 9mm guns in his car, was charged with 4 weapons charges and for bribing his driver to claim that the guns were his own. A witness at the trial said she saw both Shine and Puffy shoot their weapons, but the bad boy honcho was acquitted on all charges, while Shine was found guilty of 5 of his 8 charges and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. From there, Diddy took a long hiatus from violence until 2013. That year, Puffy was allegedly involved in an altercation with J. Cole at a 2013 MTV VMAs afterparty. Multiple sources alleged to Complex that A. visibly intoxicated Combs accosted Kendrick Lamar about his fiery verse on Big Sean's Control, where he bragged he was king of New York. Diddy allegedly tried to pour a drink on Kendrick before Cole intervened, and they got into a fight.
Oh well, that's
Oh well. Bring some smart shit, man. We're gonna bring some smart shit. That's some gangster shit.
I love it,
man.
Thank you. I need the help, brother.
No, man, I need the help. Thank you, man. This is a replay.
The New York Post, however, reported that the scuffle occurred after J. Cole was saying inappropriate things to Sean Combs and his girlfriend Cassie. A witness told them that some pushing and shoving happened. No punches were thrown, but it was a visible disturbance. Both men immediately denied that a fight had taken place, though Cole later rapped, "My last rap was with Puff Daddy, who would have thought it, in 2021's Let Go My Hand." A year later, in December 2014, Diddy allegedly punched Drake over the rights to the beat that became Drake's 0 to 100. The Miami New Times reported that the two got into an argument outside of Live nightclub during DJ Khaled's event for Basel weekend. Words were allegedly exchanged and reportedly then blows, with Puffy telling Drake, "You will not disrespect me." The mogul has denied punching Drake, telling the radio show The Breakfast Club, "I didn't do nothing to Drake. Drake is my friend." Maintaining his consistency in violence dispensation, in June of 2015, Puffy got into a scuffle with then UCLA assistant football coach Sal Alosi. TMZ reported that Combs was present during a UCLA practice where Alosi chided his son and then UCLA player Justin Combs, telling him, "I don't care if your dad's here. This is UCLA. I'm going to treat you just like I treat everyone else." After the practice, Combs and his son reportedly went to Alosi's office, where an argument ensued, and Combs grabbed Alosi. According to one account, Combs was forcibly removed from Alosi's office and then swung a kettlebell at the various accounts of the event and charges that are being reported are wholly inaccurate. What we can say now is that any actions taken by Mr. Combs were solely defensive in nature to protect himself and his son. The LA District Attorney decided not to file assault charges against Diddy. Fast forward to 2019, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Gina Hoon told blogger Tasha K that the rapper physically abused her throughout their 5-year relationship. She claimed he once stomped her on the stomach, causing her to lose her breath, and also punched her in the back of the head. She told Tasha K that he was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. He would always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one, she's a good one. She also said that everyone in Diddy's circle allowed the abuse to occur. Then from there, the endless accusations began. On November 16th, Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed a federal lawsuit against Diddy in New York, alleging years of assault. Her lawsuit contains graphic allegations of Diddy R., her in 2018, physically abusing her, intimidating her, and making her have S with male escorts while he watched. The lawsuit also alleges that Puffy blew up Kid Cudi's car to deter him from seeing Cassie romantically. Through a rep, Cudi said the accusations are true. Diddy has denied the allegations and alleged that Cassie tried to blackmail him for $30 million before filing the lawsuit. The two settled for an undisclosed amount on November 17, with his attorney, Ben Brafman, stating, Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. 5 days after Diddy and Cassie reached a settlement, a former Syracuse University College student sued the rapper for allegedly drugging R and recording her, afterward allegedly showing others the assault he filmed. The suit, which was obtained by Rolling Stone, claims that after taking the woman to dinner in Harlem in 1991, he drove her to a recording studio, where he or her while she alleged she was in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. Days later, the suit reads, a male friend revealed to her that he had viewed the S tape along with other men. A representative for Combs denied the allegations, calling them a money grab in a statement to TMZ. Just before New York State's Adult Survivors Act's November 23rd deadline, a second anonymous accuser filed a lawsuit against the rapper alleging sexual assault. The law, passed in May 2022, opened a window for people over the age of 18 at the time of alleged sexual offenses to file lawsuits against alleged perpetrators, overriding statutes of limitations that typically cut off legal options. Advocates have asked for an extension of the Act's window or the undoing of statutes of limitations altogether.
To see how I, like, you speak to Jodeci or Puffy, and they've been at my house, they all know I'm a big.
In this suit, a woman claims Diddy and singer-songwriter Aaron Hall took turns R-ing her and a friend in 1990 or 1991. She also alleges that days later, Diddy again attacked her at a home where she was staying. He was irate and began assaulting and choking Jane Doe to the point that she passed out, the complaint alleges. Combs was searching for Jane Doe's friend because he was worried that she would tell the girl he was with at the time what he and Hall had done to them. Then, on December 6th, another Jane Doe plaintiff filed a lawsuit against Combs, Daddy's House Recordings, and Bad Boy Entertainment, alleging that in 2003, when she was 17, she was gang R by Diddy, former Bad Boy president Harve Pierre, and another unidentified man at the rapper's Daddy's House studio in New York City. The lawsuit claims that the teen met Pierre in Detroit and was told Puffy wanted to meet her. She was flown in on a private jet to Teterboro, New Jersey before arriving in Manhattan. The three men allegedly plied the high schooler with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. The graphic lawsuit said that things began to visually blur for her when she was assaulted by the three men in the bathroom as she drifted in and out of consciousness, had difficulty breathing, and pleaded for them to stop. Allegedly, Diddy assaulted her first and then watched the other two men while sitting in a chair outside the bathroom. The lawsuit also claims that after Pierre finished assaulting her, she was left in the bathroom alone, where she curled into a fetal position with vaginal pain. Once she regained her bearings, she was taken back to an airport and flown. Diddy made a statement claiming, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character and destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." Come December 7th, Tiffany Red, a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter who has written songs for Zendaya, Joe Jonas, Jason Derulo, and Tamar Braxton, among others, published an open letter to Combs alleging that Cassie's claims were true. I'm one of the friends mentioned in her lawsuit, specifically from the night of her 29th birthday, as detailed in the section labeled "Mr. Combs Forces Miss Ventura into S-Traying." She wrote, Red detailed her first encounters with Diddy and her working relationship with Cassie as a songwriter, and detailed the party where she claimed Combs separated Cassie from her friends. When Cassie and Diddy returned later in the evening, Red wrote that they appeared intoxicated and that the rapper was verbally abusive to both women, calling Red an emotional singing bee before departing. She later told me you made her have a F off, which Cassie described in her lawsuit as an arrangement where you would make her perform Azul acts with male S-workers. That night, Red wrote, "The reason you called me emotional singing bee was because you were listening to new songs we wrote during the F-off that had begun after you came to get her earlier that night. I am disturbed to my core by this." Red wrote that she saw occasions later where Combs appeared verbally abusive to Cassie and said that she too had experienced trauma as a result of the rapper's alleged actions. Expectedly, the lawsuits affected Diddy's day-to-day life and businesses. Hulu announced on December 3rd that the company would no longer make a reality show centered around the rapper and his family. The news arrived as multiple companies severed business ties with the hip-hop mogul following the accusations of sexual abuse and physical violence. The project, which was under the working title Diddy Plus 7, was being produced by James Corden's production company Fullwell 73 for Hulu. The drop reality show was said to take after Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which is also produced by Fullwell 73 for the streaming service. It's going to profile the entire family, a source told Page 6 earlier. They all have businesses, even the kids, and it will feature everyone. The rapper stepped aside from his chairman role at Revolt. Liquor company Diageo asked a judge to prevent him from appearing in new advertising for DeLeon, and 23 brands severed ties with Empower Global, his online marketplace for black-owned businesses, which launched in July last year. On February 27th this year, Diddy was sued by producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones for $30 million for sexual assault. The producer worked with Diddy on his The Love album and says that he was subjected to sexual misconduct for the duration of the production process. He also claimed that the rapper owes him $50,000 for his work on the Grammy-nominated album. Diddy was arrested at a New York hotel and indicted September 17th on charges of racketeering conspiracy, S-training by force, fraud or coercion, and transporting for Petion, according to court records. For decades, Sean Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct, the Department of Justice indictment read. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and the influence of his multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. His attorney said he was an innocent man and the victim of an unjust prosecution. Whatever the case, where it has gotten up to this point, we are definitely in